everybody. Okay, now I'm behind the camera. I'm making sure. I'm checking it twice. I've got a monitor up. Let's try this another way. Let's see if on my computer I can scroll to see that indeed we are live. And I can't see anything. I really must get a laptop here. I'm overdue. All right, I don't know. Let me go back and check. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I just got the high sign from Caroline, so we're back in biz. Now I'm paying a lot of money, $9.99. $9.99 a month for Speedify, which is supposed to ensure I get uninterrupted live streaming going on. But I don't know, I will apply for a refund or something. Anyway, it's great to be back with a little half an hour hiatus. I mean, I played the whole show. I know some of you commented, can somebody call him? Yeah, no, I can't see what's going on because the camera is set up in a stationary position now. I only have the cooperation of Caroline intermittently, so anyway, I trust that this one is going to work, and I'm going to start off the same way I did the last one. I'm going to play the same set, but now I'm really warmed up for it. Okay. And as part of the fun, you're going to see me do all the tuning and the setting up of loops. And here we go. Let's see. Okay. This is why sometimes I like to have these loops already set up for you, because there's not a click for 5/4 timer. See, and that's one of them. Now there's a sweet spot right about there. It usually will ensure I can get a nice 5/4 loop here for you. But not today. Right. I know electro harmonics make excellent loopers, but they never did have a click for these odd time signatures, so it's trial and error often. Joe from Kilimanjaro, a wonderful jazz composition in 5/4 by the great Abdullah Ibrahim, who used to be known as Dollar Brand, after the Dollar Brand cigars that he used to smoke. I'm gonna go just check to see that we're still on here. All right, please bear with me. Okay, so far so good. And well, what can I say now? You know, I'm like Groucho Marx, who once famously said to a guy who appeared on a show with a lot of children, I like my cigar too, but I take it out every once in a while. I do not actually smoke anything anymore, but when in Havana, which I have played 7 or 8 times, I love to pick up a box of Cohibas. They're wonderful, so aromatic, but they're not that easy for a non-smoker like myself to fully enjoy because I get a little dizzy. Yes, I prefer sobriety above everything in my life. And this is a guy who's only getting about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. That's plenty stimulation, keeps me on my toes. And what can I say? I'm, working away. Now, I had a great discovery last night, which I just posted about that. My friend Celeste Chong, who's a wonderful singer originally from Singapore, who I hooked up with in New York. She's in Malcolm McLaren's biography, this new book that came out by Paul Gorman, which I'm quite enjoying. It's a really thick, weighty tome, so I'm near the end. But did you know that he had a project utilizing Chinese music many years ago that never really got off the ground, that he was going to call The Rice Girls, with 4 female Asian vocalists. It was kind of a parody of the Spice Girls, I'm sure you've heard of. But anyway, Celeste is on this record, which is one of my most best-known and beloved albums. Gary Lucas plays mid-century Chinese pop, The Edge of Heaven. And I was so fortunate to be recommended to her. And she is just fantastic. And this is not to denigrate my excellent singer, Fei Yang, who lives here in New York now. Celeste is currently based in Toronto, so it's hard for us to get together. But she is a beautiful singer, and you should get this album. And then, wait for the next. We have a couple of goodies, hopefully, that will drop next year after the pandemic subsides. We hope. And what can I say about that other than continue to wear those masks, folks? I can't wait to play for you, but it ain't going to happen unless we can flatten the curve, as they say now. I wanted to do a little show and tell in the show, too. I did a whole tribute to Doc at the radar station, Captain Beefheart's great, I would say maybe not comeback album, but return to form, one of his last albums, second to the last, in 1980, on which I have a solo piece, which kind of put me on the map as a guitar player. Now, people go on and on about collecting vinyl, and I certainly have a shelf, or many shelves full of it. Nothing too recent, though. I'm just not interested. Sorry. But how about collecting of cassettes? Now, look at this. I have a whole collection of Beefheart cassettes, which you don't see every day. Like you rarely saw them back in the day. Here we got Lick My Decals Off, Baby, my particular favorite, out on a Warner Brothers Cassette Reprise cassette. And here we have the Clear Spot album. Some people prefer this as their favorite. A double-sided cassette, produced by Ted Templeman. Here we have the Mercury Records Curiosity, Unconditionally Guaranteed, in which Tom Beverly is clutching dollar bills, actual dollar bills, which I think is a technical felony to depict a dollar bill in a reproduction on a record. I don't know how they skirted this issue, but check into that. I mean, I'm glad J. Edgar Hoover didn't send his boys out, or today it would be Trump's private militia going after him, but as if no one knew what a dollar bill looked like. And here we have Trout Mask Replica, albeit a very dusty version. Now, this has got to be worth some money, although I ain't selling this. And I'm selling. I got songs for sale. I got music for sale. Uncle Meat. This is not a Beefheart album, but look at this. The whole thing. This is my favorite Zappa magnum opus, maybe after Lumpy Gravy. To me, his high point are those two albums. Look at this, Blue Thumb Records, strictly personal, on an actual Blue Thumb cassette. This has got to be worth a fortune right here, Fred Perry. Fred introduced me to Beefheart. His brother Richard produced the first one, Safe as Milk. The second one is produced by Bob Krasnow, who I spoke about in the aborted first take today that was not to be at 3 o'clock, but I'll save that one. Here's Mirror Man on Buddha Records. This is basically demos for the second album in a very expensive studio. I asked Don, it sounded like a garage band. He said it was a very expensive garage. And last but not least, this is, geez, I don't know, put this out. The File series on Pi Records from London. Captain Beefheart, what is on this? Okay, it's basically Mirror Man and the first album, Safe as Milk, and so there you have it. Ends with Candy Corn, my particular favorite. One of these days, I will reassemble when we can play it someplace not in a drive-in. The World of Captain Beefheart, featuring the fantastic Nona Hendryx, Jesse Krakow, Jordan Shapiro, Richard Dworkin, and myself. And we will lay down some of these beautiful songs for you live. It's not easy for me to recreate them. I tried during that show, but I wound up talking them. All right, so now I'm going to shut up before I run out of time, because I had a request. Richard Timms, I'm working on a Smiths cover for you. I didn't really have a chance to get to it. I know that if you want to incentivize me, you know what to do. But this is for another friend who's a faithful watcher and listener. Hold on. Not a lot of room here. I painted myself into a corner. Yeah, well, anyway, this is from our last Gods and Monsters album. It's called The Lady of Shalott. This is the title of a famous pre-Raphaelite painting. You should look it up. Who did that? John Singer Sargent, maybe? Maybe. I have to double check, but it's very Arthurian, and it shows the Lady of Shalott drifting off, or is it Ophelia? I forget which. Oh well. I scramble all of these English folk tales often, but the lyrics are by David Dalton, a great guy, a great writer. I mean, a guy who wrote extensively and befriended the Manson family until he realized what was going on there. Exactly, just like Ed Sanders. Let's say they were both a little bit taken in, but then they pivoted rapidly when it became apparent what was going on. Anyway, David has written numerous books. I love James Dean, The Mutant King, which I read when I was a boy in Taipei. I probably got a bootleg of it, Taipei not observing the copyright convention, for at least 200 NT, that's $5. It was then, new Taiwan dollars. And he's written books about Keith Richard, I believe, and he's just a fabulous writer and a great guy. And he was put by Steve Paul with me to come up with a song for Marianne Faithfull. And he gave me lyrics, which these are the lyrics, The Lady of Shalott I'm about to sing, although revised a little bit. And Marianne declined politely and saying, it's not in my key. Which is as good an excuse as any I can think of for a collaborator to tell you, except that I would have shifted the key around, and she really meant it. But be that as it may, I hope she's well. And anyway, this is The Lady of Shalott, and it's on the last Gods and Monsters studio album. We got another one in the works, produced by Jerry Harrison, featuring Ernie Brooks, Jason Candler, Billy Ficca.
I was once in Samarkand. A girl who loves me understands. See how the water on the sand weighs at me like little hands. Would I tell you what I did, or would you rather keep it here? Or shall we go and have a drink? I need a day or two to think. The days go by, I don't complain. Was it in Greece we met or Spain? Will it snow or will it rain? Or will we ever meet again? It's hard to say just what it was that made it all so strange, because you are the lady of Shabbat, just what is real and what is not. And all along the river Nile, long fields of barley and rye. The days go by, I don't complain. Was it in Greece we met or Spain? Will it snow or will it rain? Or will we ever meet again? It's hard to say just what it was that made it all so strange, because you are the lady of Shabbat, just what is real and what is not. And all along the river Nile.
that be? How could that be? And I want to thank all the people who were so lovely, who shared a little bit of love with me on the dreaded PayPal. I don't know why everyone is so afraid to use PayPal. I get so many people saying, "Can I send you a check?" Or Zelle, or I don't know. But Roy Trakin, you are a mensch. You are one of the righteous elect. Roy is an old friend, and he just did a fantastic article about this new Hal Wilner posthumous album, tribute to Mark Bolan. Now, when I was a boy, I had a photo of Mark Bolan, what they called a slick insert. Ooh, that sounds kind of racy, doesn't it? A slick insert on my bedroom wall, along with 2 posters of Allen Ginsberg, who I later worked with. I felt a real affinity with Mark. I mean, his real name was Mark Feld, and he was a curly-haired Jewish boy, as was I. That was a long time ago. Okay, Carolyn Schultz, thank you also. You're wonderful. Carolyn used to live in this building with her husband, Mark Plakius, old friend of mine from college. Larry Lasker, another old friend from college. He's been a multiple contributor. Peter Bull, the same. You guys are wonderful. Peter is a documentary filmmaker, and I was gainfully employed for a while there in the 90s when he worked at ABC News as a producer. And whenever there was some show that required violent music, that had violent content, somebody, maybe Peter, said, "I wonder what Gary is doing." Nowadays, though, you weren't supposed to then do what they call color the news, and nowadays that's all they do if you see a documentary. They try and goose it to, ad infinitum with stings and, horrific sounding musical cues. Oh well. What happened to subtlety, I ask you? I don't know, in the persona of our president, I guess no one. Kathy Petignat, you are, what is a female for mensch? Kathy works at Orlando Palacios' fantastic haberdashery. It's called Worth and Worth on 57th Street off Park Avenue. You should go there, folks, if you're interested. If you want a very unusual hats, he custom makes them. He's a genius, and the one I've got on. This is my summer hat this summer, courtesy Orlando. Not cheap, but tell him I sent you, and who knows, and say hi to Kathy, because she's a doll. Simon Atkinson, thank you too, and anybody out there watching, please do, check out. Just send me $20, a mere $20, and I will send you an incredible version, I think, of "She's a Rainbow" by the Rolling Stones, all instrumental, played on this here guitar, my 1941 J45. Okay, that's it. I'll be back here on Saturday, and let's approach the viewing public. Thank you. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Are we still on? Yes, we are. Okay, love to you. I see those hearts.